Flag Show presented by the Brian Burt's Home Selling Team. Score the best deal on a home with the Brian Burt's Home Selling Team. Visit brianburts.com or call 915-751-1500.
Warrior mentality in El Paso, Texas. Locomotive FC returning home after back-to-back road wins. And don't look now, they've won 4 in a row. Tonight, looking to make it 5 straight with a win against Loudoun United FC. Welcome back to Southwest University Park. I'm Duke Keith. Colin Deaver has the night off, but pleased to say Rachel Phillips will be joining us pitchside throughout the evening with reports from down on the pitch. Speaking of down on the pitch, first time Locomotive's been home in a minute, but what a result, or what a series of results. 4 straight wins, 5 of their last 6. More impressive than that, though, is who they've done it against and where. On the road against some of the top teams in the division as we take a look. Let's go back to April 29th. Locomotive on the road against San Diego Loyal. Score first, and on the road, you like your chances. How about 13th minute? Ricardo Zacarias gets behind everyone. Pass in from Liam Rose. Off a deflected shot, El Paso takes the lead 1-0. Solid first half for the Locos, but in the 61st minute, San Diego responds. Robinson Moshavani with some pretty moves gets the shot off, and it's tied. However, this is where we have seen Locomotive mature as a team. They stay composed, continue playing their game. Dennis Costician, Eric Calvillo to Lucho. What a setup for Dennis, and that's the game winner. Championship goal of the week. 11 passes, 7 different players. One of the best team goals you'll see anywhere. And a big 3 points for Locomotive, which takes us to Colorado Springs last week. Another tough road matchup against Switchbacks FC. Remember, El Paso already played Switchbacks at home, losing 1-0 second game of the season. So, revenge on the mind for Locos. 10th minute, Petar Petrovic 1v1. You like that. Cross in. Who does he find? One of the best finishers in the league, Lucho. First time up in the top bins. Tons of pressure from El Paso. That attack has been on fire for Locos during the stretch. This time, Lucho getting the ball into Zacarias. An amazing finish, pushing it out to Petrovic. Solid strike on the ball. It's 2-0. Oh, and that was just 3 minutes after the first goal. Another dominant half from El Paso. Then in the second, Jimmy Ockford off a corner kick gets enough of a change of direction. And 2-1, El Paso still up, but not to worry. Head coach Brian Clairhout pushing all the right buttons, subs in Emmanuel Sanupe. He gets his first goal of the season off a deflection. Important because after Switchback score another, it would prove to be the game winner. And that sets us up for tonight's opponent. Loudoun United FC's gotten off to a decent start, but remember that crazy stretch of games Locomotive FC played to start the season? Well, Loudoun's in the middle of that right now. This is going to be their 6th match in a span of about 3 weeks, a match almost every 3 days. They come in with 3 wins in the year, but did lose 2-1 against Indy 11 last Saturday. Probably should have been a tie, but we'll talk about that later. Game they were winning until late in the second half. This past Wednesday, losing 5-1 to MLSI Columbus Crew in U.S. Open Cup play. And tonight doesn't get any easier. Loudoun only 1 win on the road this season, and that was more than 2 months ago, their first match of the year. It's Loudoun United FC looking to get right and bounce back. El Paso Locomotive looks to keep that train rolling, along with those good times. USL Championship action on the other side of the break.
Southwest Chiropractic, serving El Paso area and relieving pain for more than 20 years. Not only do we treat auto, sports, and work-related injuries, but we also treat scoliosis, sciatica, back pain, disc injuries, chronic pain treatment, and we even manage stress. At Southwest Chiropractic, our patients are seen the same day. We provide gentle and effective care, and we accept most insurances. Schedule your appointment today and let us relieve your pain. With 3 convenient locations in El Paso, Southwest Chiropractic. Your health is our well-being. Call us today, 915-581-9619.
Welcome to the 2023 Coaches Show. Joining me to my left, head coach for El Paso Locomotive FC and technical director, Brian Clairhout.
I'm all for celebrating W's. I think that's where I wake up in the morning, celebrate W's.
Welcome to Southwest University Park here in El Paso, Texas, as we're just about ready to kick things off. Let's take a quick look at the starting lineups first for Locomotive FC. And you'll notice some changes. Petar Petrovic is out of the lineup, but You will see on the bench, Mark Navarro is available for selection. Wonderful that he is back. Petar Petrovic, along with Ricardo Zacarias, out with a couple of knocks coming into tonight. And your team captain will be Eder Borelli, as Yuma also resting after a tough week of practice. Loudoun United FC, keep an eye on number 28, Zach Ryan. He's the man up top. And under the direction of Ryan Martin, really the one to keep an eye on for Loudoun United FC, although we have seen some great work from Khalil El-Medkar. Really took a great goal, a very well taken goal versus Indy 11 last weekend. Just about underway here at Southwest University Park. You take a look at the Select Sport America ball on the pitch. We are ready for kickoff here from El Paso, Texas. Loudoun United, as we talked about, just the 3 wins this season. Honestly, should have been 2-2 and a draw versus Indy 11. You can say anything about the goals allowed, but absolutely robbed was Zach Ryan of a goal that clearly bounced off the top crossbar and in. Wasn't spotted. Everybody thought Loudoun United had scored, except the people that needed to. The officials on the field. So Loudoun took that last Saturday, losing 5-1 against Columbus Crew. 3rd round of the U.S. Open Cup. Great work to get where they did, but Columbus scoring all 5 of their goals in the first half. Great throw in here. Aaron Gomez trying to hold off 2. That's well done at the back by Hayden Sargis. Out for a Locomotive throw, though. Again, they're trying to go to Aaron Gomez. It'll come to Sanupe. Yanks one, but it's wide. And it'll roll out for a goal kick. Bounced straight to Emma Sanupe, but he wasn't able to put it on frame. And it seems like Hugo Faru had his angles well covered as well. Loudoun United, the former USL Championship affiliate of DC United. Lions just trying to keep this out of trouble. Diaz. Hot in pursuit, Panos Armanakis. Armanakis, quite a story. The age of 16, from Australia to Europe. Watford, Udinese, in Serie A. Is a foul on Liam Rose. Take down Aiden Rocha. So we take a look at our Casa Ford keys to the game. Keep an eye on that number 28, dangerous player for Loudoun. Very efficient with his scoring, 5 goals, 2 assists in only 6 games. Look a little deeper into those goals. He's got those 5 goals on 11 shots. So very, very good to keep an eye on number 28, Zach Ryan. El Paso can get out to an early lead, really control the game. We've seen them score in the 10th and 13th minutes of the last 2 matches. Help set the tone for Locomotive, but score first, score early is the mantra. Do that at home versus a tired team that lost to Indy 11 and 5-1 on Wednesday. It can be very demoralizing. More importantly, the numbers don't lie. El Paso 5-0 when they score first. First goal's always important. And the third key, play a full 90. Head coach Brian Clairhout will tell you it's a little different on the road trying to come up with a win. You'll take 3 points any way you can get them. Locomotive dominant for long stretches of those games in San Diego and Colorado Springs. Playing at home, looking for El Paso not to let Loudoun back into the game if in fact they do score early. We'll go down to Rachel Phillips here, but first, Lucho sends a rocket just over the bar. That allows us to head down to the 3rd member of our team, usually. 2nd member tonight, it's Rachel Phillips. Fresh off the plane. Rachel, welcome back.
Hey there, Duke. Thanks for having me. Hey, there's no question the Locos have been on a hot streak, winning 5 out of their last 6 games. And that one game they didn't win, well, it was a 2-2 draw on the road, so still a very good game. The emphasis for Brian Clairhout this season has really been to push and score goals. If they score 1 goal, well, he wants them to go score another one. And then guess what after that? Yep, score another one. And look, Clairhout really wants them to put the pressure on Loudoun tonight. He's saying, quote, Loudoun has to travel for a midweek game. We should be in the driver's seat pushing forward.
Calvillo just wide.
And you see them pushing forward right there. They want to be in the driver's seat and set the tempo in this one. And Duke, you did say that El Paso is 5-0 when they score first. You see them threatening right here to try and score first. Well, in those 5 games, the Locos have put up 11 goals, which is 2.2 a game. Whereas in their 3 losses on the season, well, they didn't score first. They had just the 2 goals, which is 0.6 a game. Moral of the story, it's important for the Locos to get out to a hot start and score first. And, well, we've seen at least 3 shots on goal in just the first couple minutes of this game.
Thanks very much, Rachel, indeed. And just listening to Brian Clairhout, as we take a look at the replay, Eric Calvillo just whistling one wide as Loudoun gives it up deep. Clairhout, he still thinks that this team, as well as they've done on the road, and let's be honest, road wins at Colorado Springs and San Diego, amazing work. As Lucho vying for this one, down deep, good work by Lucho to keep it, and Locomotive will earn its first corner kick. Lucho, solid work. Here is Dennis Kostishin. Calvillo there for the short corner, which they will play. Coming to meet it, Liam Rose, the chip into the far corner. You can tell, looking to try and find Bensei Pakovic. It did not quite work out, a little bit over his head. Training ground stuff from Locomotive FC in the early going. Our best to Colin Deaver, enjoying himself in Austin, of course, covering the Texas State High School track meet, championship track meet. El Paso always well represented there. But happy to have Rachel Phillips back with us after quite the walkabout, Rachel.
A little bit of a walkabout, if you could say that, just a little one.
Just a little one through Utah and Colorado.
We were discussing, Duke, I did 18 kilometers yesterday. Don't ask me to convert that to miles, but probably not even close to what a midfielder would run in a soccer game all night.
I think that's actually pretty close, but that's running, not necessarily. Although you did it uphill, they do it on a flat surface.
Yeah, but I'm sore today, and I imagine that they're fit enough that they wouldn't be sore the next day.
Probably. Well, great to have Rachel back as this one will sail out. Loudoun United playing their soccer at Segra Field. As we talked about earlier, they were the kind of the MLS 2 side. Of course, MLS Next Pro has kind of taken things over there. So Loudoun United, independently done. That's a great give and go. Lucho and Aron Gomez. Gomez squares it up, and it just doesn't fall right as it comes off his right foot. Aron Gomez is due. He is absolutely due. But wasn't able to steer that one on frame as we take a look. Coming right into your living room here. Great give and go with Ian Lucho as Aron stepping into the role of Petar Petrovic.
Yeah, Duke, you saw Aron there going for goal. He's now 2 goals behind Lucho as all-time leading goal scorer for the Locomotive. So saw that one open up, and I'm sure he's like, you know what, I might like to get a couple back on Lucho.
Indeed. And again, I think he's due. If anybody's ready for this, this will bounce nicely for Liam Rose. Tries to hop it over for Sinupe, but well fronted by Daniel Chica. Don't say Aron Gomez isn't hungry, though, because the guy who was for years the leading scorer all-time for Locomotive FC, as we've pointed out many times before, really a box-to-box forward. He's playing on the wing today. Not quite his role today as it is usually, but in for Petar Petrovic. Of course, getting his first start tonight, Eric McHugh, in for the indefatigable Spaniard Yuma. Thought that was going to be easy for me to say, but it wasn't. Over the top. Trying to find something out of the back for Zach Ryan, didn't fall for it. And the man who has the USL Championship Save of the Week, Benny Diaz, the Los Angelino, on loan from Tijuana. 3 clean sheets this season. For Diaz, that ties him for 3rd in the league. Foul from behind will give the restart to Locomotive as Miles Lyons is taken down. Aaron Gomez in, Eric McHugh, as we talked about. Of course, Miles Lyons in for the spot normally reserved for Mark Navarro, who is available for selection tonight. But Rachel, it's next man up mentality for Brian Claerhaut's Locomotive FC.
Yeah, certainly, Duke. Obviously missing a lot of key players, both on the pitch and just with experience and leadership they provide. No more so than Yuma, though, but it's an area that really shouldn't be a concern for Locomotive fans here tonight, or Claerhaut for that matter. He's been very vocal about this being one of the best leadership groups and locker rooms he's ever worked with. Expect guys like Eric Cavilla and Lucho to step up tonight in Yuma's absence. And of course, Eder Borelli, who gets his first nod as captain, and really no surprise there for that one. He's a super vocal guy on the team and is so passionate about the team and really leads from the front, even really trying to stand up and help the team get to a playoff spot even through injury last year.
Decided not to get his shoulder operated on. Turned out he didn't need it. A little bit of a tough time there, cleared away by Pokovic. But Eder Borelli, as we've talked about before, here's a guy who works his way into the lineup and then never leaves. Coaches are sometimes, put off by, he's not the fastest guy in the world, but you want to talk about a dude who could put a ball on a dime. That's Eder Borelli. He has been captain for Locomotive before under Mark Lowry, and had to prove himself under John Hutchinson and again under Brian Claerhaut, but here he is, and since he's been in the lineup, he hasn't been out. That's a foul. Calvillo taken down and a restart coming.
Yeah, well, Duke, he missed those first 2 games with the Locomotive, was sitting on the bench, didn't really get any playing minutes, and then I think started in that 3rd game and really made an impact, and he hasn't left that spot since.
Former captain for FC Juarez Bravos, coming from FC Juarez, El Paso Locomotive's sister club, south of the Rio Grande, or the Rio Bravo as they call it in Mexico. And it is Borelli on the ball. Back to Calvillo as he's taken down. Another foul from behind. This one on Panos Armanakis. Armanakis, great interview with Nicholas Murray at USLChampionship.com. As we talked about his pedigree. Born in Newport, California, that's where he's from, but moved to Australia. Rachel, a fellow countryman. And then from there to Europe. For many years, one of the brightest prospects in world football as a teenager.
And Duke, yes. I was going to say, I've got a pretty fun fact for you on that. Are you ready for this?
Let's lay it on me.
Okay, so he and Liam Rose, also a fellow Australian, the two of them played for the same indoor soccer club when they were like 10 and 11 years old. They haven't seen each other since. Liam was telling me, obviously Akamanis went over and played in a lot of European teams, and Liam stayed in Australia, so they haven't seen each other since. This is actually the first time they're on the same pitch since that indoor soccer league back when they were about 10 and 11 years old.
My, how things change. That's amazing, though.
Well, and also just interesting how different paths they took, and
yes,
yet they're both still here on the same pitch in El Paso. I don't think growing up they probably ever thought they would be here. I myself also the same, but here we all are.
Here we all are, indeed. 2 years with Watford, signed a 3-year deal with Udinese, became the youngest Australian ever to sign a pro contract in any of the top 5 leagues in Europe, and that was on his 19th birthday. That's another foul. Loudoun United has committed a number of them. This one kind of in a dangerous spot. No, it is a defensive or offensive, a foul on Locomotive. It'll be a restart here for Loudoun United. The restart by Chica, who is not Chico by any means. Out of Leesburg, Virginia, standing 6'2". Eighth Notch making their voices heard tonight in Section 105. Good crowd on hand on a Saturday night, ready for some fireworks afterward. And for some fireworks on the pitch. Chica. Good switch out to the right. Elmed Carr, as we told you, had a great goal, very well taken goal versus Indy 11. That one over the top, looking for Elmed Carr. Well covered by Pokovich and cleared away by McHugh. Eric McHugh from Sala, Sweden. What an interesting story for the 22-year-old young defender. USL Championship experience. Signed as a homegrown player with Houston Dynamo, Charleston Battery. Signed with AB Argeir of the Faroe Islands Premier League. Did you know the Faroe Islands had a Premier League? Now you do. As Rachel talked about, it is a wide, wide world, especially when it comes to the sport of soccer. Lions. John Morrissey at USL Tactics on Twitter had a great stat. Effective crosses per 90 minutes. And of course, Mark Navarro, as you might expect for the Spaniard, even though he has seen limited time for Locomotive FC, kind of leads that pack. Near 40% effectivity on his crosses, and just absolutely prolific in that regard. As Lucho and Aron take it away, Aron Gomez, but returning the favor, Loudoun United. Good deflection by Lucho. Eder Borelli helping to play that out. Lions will go back. And Benny Diaz. The outlet valve is Eric McHugh. But not only Navarro, Pilar Petrovic is in there, and Miles Lyons. Navarro's the other guy who plays right wing along with Mark. So wonderful that the youngster, Miles Lyons, former Barca Residency Academy product, shows up in this regard as well. Kostitian let that one fly. It'll roll all the way up to Ugo Faru. Miles Lyons, all of 20 years old. Brian Claerhout saying that he trusts his players equally and he doesn't believe he loses anything when he has Lyons on the pitch instead of Mark Navarro. And that's saying something with a guy with La Liga and Premier League experience. It'll bounce kindly here. Good outlet. Trying to control and come back. Diaz has that one cleanly. Good work by Tommy Williamson. And a great switch out to Williamson on right wing, but he wasn't able to do anything with it. Williamson himself, an interesting story. Started with Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Also shown up with Minnesota United 2. 24-year-old out of Anaheim. Made his pro debut with Pittsburgh on May 8th, 2021 against Tampa Bay. He became the first player in Riverhounds history born after the club's formation. Riverhounds starting in 1998. It's well taken away from Almanakis. Lucho coming back deep. Often here in the early going. Headed to the 20th minute here on a breezy evening at Southwest University Park. Had some clouds move in from the south until the wind's kind of out of the southeast a little bit. Locomotive Playing with the wind at their back this half. Over the top, McHugh. Finding Lyons. Lyons in a sprint will cross to the far post. A little too far for Lucho, but he's got it back again up top. He was looking for Arona, didn't go that way. Calvillo. Costichin. The switch to Borelli. Served it up into the middle. That's headed out. Aron Gomez trying to control. Goal kick. Miles Lyons doing what Mark Navarro loves to do, and that's chip up into the attack. And a great ball by McHugh out of the back, Rachel, to find him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just going back to those accolades that you said Brian Clareheart gave to Lyons, it's really not surprising at all, because before the season even started, when you talk to coaches and players, a lot of them raved about Lyons and his development in the offseason, on his aggressiveness and his decision-making, and he's being rewarded for that this season. Obviously, with Mark Navarro out, he's getting the chance to come in and play. He said for him, when he gets on the pitch, it's about proving the coach's faith in him and taking advantage of the opportunity, and this isn't the first time he seized the moment. In June of last season, he got a trial with the Locos and impressed former coach John Hutchinson enough to bring him over from the Barca residency, the same place, as you mentioned, Diego Luna came from. Miles said he's just trying to follow in the footsteps of Luna. And so far, I mean, Duke, you can weigh in on this, but I think he's doing a pretty good job.
I would agree with you. Certainly great ball over the top, and on the run, he was being pressured by Abdul Zane, but lifted across that Locomotive did eventually control. Tommy Williamson earns a foul on the restart here, but Locomotive and Miles Lyons see it out. And a great ball out of the back. Sanupe from Costichin. Sanupe to Lucho. Well done by Chica. Former George Mason Patriot. Native Virginian out of Leesburg, which is the home of Loudoun United FC. They'll switch it long out here. Able to run into that is Zane. Nice cross, but mistimed a bit. Coming out for Zach Ryan, didn't quite work out, and a bit of miscommunication. Lucho and Sanupe trying to link up, but well blown up by Chica. Chica, Armanakis. But here's Costichin, the Ukrainian. Wheels his way out of that cul-de-sac. Locomotive will reset to Benny Diaz. Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit Select Sport America, select-sport.com. us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Speaking of cul-de-sacs, Eric Calvillo. Great turn, back heel by Gomez. Rose out to the right. And Costichin will switch it. Borelli, Gomez. Rose and Gomez. Locomotive trying to tighten the grip. Nice ball, Costichin, Lucho. Turned out. Solid defense again. This by Bryce Washington. And they'll have to reset it again. Credit Loudoun, they've found their feet a little bit defensively after a couple of early stabs by Locomotive. But over the top again, Locomotive right back at it. Lyons trying to get in on Chica. That'll be a foul on Miles Lyons. Loudoun United 3-4-1, 10 points, 7th place in the East. Locomotive has worked their way up to 3rd in the West, a 4-game win streak. 5 of the last 6 undefeated, trying to hold serve. If Locomotive can hold on for a victory today, if they get that tonight, that will equal a team best for consecutive wins. Set back a couple of seasons ago. Locomotive 5-3-1, 16 points. pointed out, Loudoun United FC in the middle of one of those rough patches, fixtures all over the place. They're 6th in roughly 3 weeks. It's well handled by McHugh, but last touch by Loudoun United. Loudoun United keeping pace right now, but Rachel, can they hold out for the full 90 minutes here at altitude?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, dude, because as you mentioned, so many games in such a short period of time. They're doing what exactly the Locomotive had to do that very first week of the season. 3 games in the span of a week. It's a very challenging stretch for every team, and one they will face at least a couple times a season. And it's tough. Claire Hart talked about how tough it was to manage. You've got to, manage playing time for all of the players, as well as make sure you put a side out on the pitch to win. Loudoun coming off 2 wins. They don't want to make it 3 in a row, but they are in that incredibly tough stretch right now. So will they have the legs as this 90 minutes continues to stay with the Locomotive here?
Hugo Farou last to touch it. Great ball out of the back. Benny Diaz finding Lucho. Wasn't able to corral it. The cross in from Castician on the corner. Knotted out by Jeremy Garay. Controlled though by Rose. Up top again, chest trap, but it didn't settle for McHugh. Borelli right back at it. Calvillo trying the triangle. Looking for McHugh up top. Didn't get there. And Rose will take some steam out of that. Diaz chased by Williamson. That is going to be a foul again on Locomotive. Brian Clairhout wants the aggression as long as it's smartly done. So far, so good for Locomotive. A couple of fouls on the giveaway. And restart here by Loudoun. They'll switch it. Khalil Elmedkar, nowhere to go except backward. Koa Santos, section 105, obviously disagreeing with the call. Stumbling but regaining his feet, Aiden Rocha, 22-year-old out of Georgetown U, Brookville, Maryland product. And here is McHugh. It's well done by Lyons out on the right. Trying to find Castician upfield was Calvillo. It didn't work out for the El Salvador International. Well taken, though, by Calvillo. And Lucho stabbed down as Elmedkar leaves a little extra in. The Argentine all-time leading goal scorer out of the back. And deciding to try his luck and catch Farou offline was Bence Pakovic. That one caught the wind and sailed up and over. Chica. Loudoun has found some possession, but not really a whole lot up top. It'll be a foul on Rose. And Rose, for his descent, is going to get the first caution of the night here in the 29th minute. Our referee tonight is Melvin Rivas. The assistant referees Eric Burton and Matthew Rodman. Drew Player is our 4th official, and Mr. Rivas did not like what he heard out of the Australian. Over the top we go. Eric McHugh nodded out, and that caught the hand of Williamson. Spotted by the referee, Mr. Rivas. I don't know if Melvin Rivas is up to date on his Australian slang, Rachel, but I imagine there are a few words that we don't share from country to country, even though we do speak the same language.
Just a few. There's a few of those. I get myself caught in some sticky situations using some of those words often.
Okay.
But I will say Liam, of all players, is one of the most well-spoken guys and hates being rude to anyone. So I would be very intrigued to know what he had to say to the referee there, because he's pretty well-spoken.
That's a nice cross, but Benny Diaz has it. Quick on the restart, trying to find Lucho. Lucho will not get there in time. Good work by Farul to come way off his line and prevent disaster there. Khalil Medkar. Well done to El Medkar, who got that one out along that right wing. But Benny Diaz getting the applause of the crowd here. And as you hear clearly, Eighth Notch supporting their keeper, who really enjoys the crowd at his back here in the first half, the home crowd, as opposed to playing against them. On the coach's show, really talked about the atmosphere provided by Section 105 and Eighth Notch as being a bad thing when you are in the opposition, which he was with Oakland Roots. Brian Clairhout, who knows a thing about or two about hostile environments, having played in Sweden. He's seen his share of threatening messages when the team doesn't win right, or from the opposition fans in Europe, which is a whole different level of fandom, shall we say. And for Locomotive FC, Brian Clairhout loves what Section 105 brings, because he says it is a little like Europe. They're not nice. To the opposition, anyway. Well crossed in. That doesn't bounce for McHugh the way he wanted. In a battle for it with Williamson, and that'll be a foul. It's actually Pakovic who earns Locomotive the free kick. A little too rough from Tommy Williamson. Whole different level of intensity in many instances, but Section 105 at Eighth Notch for its little slice of El Paso, always heard here at Southwest University Park.
Yeah, Duke, I mean, it's just special. It's something that not many other clubs have, that entire section that is just always going to be there for their team no matter what happens. And I mean, you saw it at the end of that Pittsburgh win. It was kind of weird to watch, but the entire team, including Brian Clairhout, they all linked arms, went over to Section 105 and did a big wave to them. And like I said, it looked a little weird, but it was an appreciation to say thank you for everything they do, because they helped them get out of some of these really tough matches. And, you know, they were there through those first 3 losses of the season, which were really tough for the fans to watch, but they stuck it out, and look at them now. They get to enjoy this.
Kind of a curtain call moment. That does happen in European soccer, and I think that was something that Brian Clairhout wanted to give the fans. They certainly deserved it for the voices that night after a big win. Chica, well kept by Loudoun. Foul. Landry Hosu got that out of trouble. Locomotive, though, getting possession, and Liam Rose draws the contact. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2023 on whether your club's on the road or at home. Nearly every second of the USL Championship is on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, La Liga, Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up at plus.espn.com today. Bit of a dangerous pass, but Benny Diaz there to receive. Chica, no foul there. Lucho wanted one, he didn't get one. And here comes Armanakis. His lead ball picked off. Well played by Vence Pakovic. Calvillo turned and immediately found Jeremy Garay, his fellow El Salvador international, right there with him. Garay played a bit with DC United. Homegrown for DCU. Well played here by Zane. He's trying to keep it away from Kostishin. And that forces the corner. Great work by Kostishin. Zane just ran into a brick wall. Had nowhere to go with it. And touched it over the byline. Third corner coming for Locomotive. And it is the Ukrainian delivering service from both sides. Great kick. And had to be fought off by Farouk. I don't doubt for a second Kostishin was going for the Olympico. Didn't work out that way. Headed down. Flag is up. No goal. Lucho. They got it to Pakovic, who sent it to Lucho, but the flag was up. There is no goal. Diaz, ready for that. The smoke pots are up. I don't think you can turn those things off, can you? Well, maybe a good thing for section one. Oh, here's Sanupe. Great ball from the side. Sanupe, well done by Chica. And a little pull by Emma Sanupe will give the restart to Loudoun United. Defense for Loudoun United FC has really held its own here on the road in El Paso, but as we are into the 37th minute, Locomotive has done nothing but continue to ask questions. Mainly in from that right. Here's some pressure. Great work by Aron Gomez. Farouk just gets it off in time. Calvillo the takeaway. Sanupe does well to pull it back and tries one just wide of the left post. The Englishman, former Tottenham man. Rachel, as we take a look at this one again, he didn't miss by much.
That's now his third opportunity, super close to the net. You got to think at some point he is going to execute and find the back of the net just like he did last week, getting his first goal of the season. He's being dangerous, getting in and behind. And it's kind of what was expected of Sanupe when he joined the Locos last season, but we didn't really see it. Off the field, he was adapting to moving to a new country and city, catching planes to games for the first time in his career, and building relationships with the team. While on the field, he was in and out of the side due to an injury. He told me it was frustrating.
Kostishin again to the far post. Sanupe again, and this time the miss hit. Will go wide for a goal kick.
Yeah, Duke, he told me it was so frustrating just being in and out of the side with an injury last season. He felt really confident coming into the season and then just couldn't really get out of it. But he says now he's in really good shape and is ready to build consistency. And being in the starting side tonight, expect him to try and put on a show and try and hold that spot. And, well, 4 chances now with that last one off the corner kick, and he's certainly threatening.
Indeed, and obviously Farouk catching a piece of that. And there's Pakovic drawing a foul. Rather Borelli. Borelli, who won't win any foot races, but didn't necessarily want to. Gets Locomotive the quick restart here. Borelli goes off to Calvillo. Aron Gomez wings one just wide, and it will be a goal kick. Gomez, left-footed strike. Tried with the right earlier, and it didn't settle for him the way he wanted it to, but that is the foot he wanted. Didn't miss by much, but Locomotive still just wide. Against the wind, that'll go out for a Locomotive throw. Faru on the restart. Benedias there. Quick outlet. Kostyshin with room. The Ukrainian drives one. Touched. On the bounce, it's wide. Miles Lyons tried to hit it. It'll be another goal kick. Loudoun United has the one shot on target tonight. Locomotive, their 7th shot of the evening. Nothing on frame. Headed to the 41st minute. Faru here on the restart. The Frenchman played with Austin Bold a couple of seasons ago, a 26-year-old. Last season with Charleston Battery. Armanakis settled that one. We'll get it out to Elmed Carr. Sargis and Faru. Well, Locomotive, I think one of the things that Brian Clairhout might talk about would be shots on target. He wants the offense. It's well taken. Liam Rose. Manigan and then Borelli figuring in this as well. Lofted, nice one over the top for Sanupe, who's taken down, and a dangerous free kick. Sanupe with position on Chica, who gets a caution. And in the 42nd minute, Locomotive FC just outside of the 18. Dennis Kostyshin. Sanupe. Clattered into Calvillo and Kostyshin. You've got a couple of dead eyes here. Both of these men can send in free kicks with the best of them. Kostyshin's left foot or Calvillo's right. Which will it be? Maybe 20 yards off the byline. And with the wind if they can get it to settle. The wall is set. Calvillo looking for the near corner. It's wide again. 8th shot of the first half. Nothing has been on frame for Locomotive. And as we were saying earlier, this is, I think, where Brian Clairhout might have a conversation or two with his team at the half. They have had their opportunities, but it remains 0-0. Faru against the wind again. This one firmly in the field of play. Williamson to nod it back. Borelli help heading it out of trouble. But controlled, Elmed Carr, Armanakis, Aiden Rocha. Elmed Carr tries a back heel that doesn't go anywhere near Armanakis, and it'll be out for Locomotive throw. The man wearing the captain's armband tonight, former FC Juarez Bravos player, Eder Borelli. Here's Zane under pressure. Locomotive earns the throw, taken quickly. It's out off of Chica. It bounces out. It'll be corner for Locomotive. Chica really taking that one off of Lyons. Kostyshin, another corner for Locomotive. fifth of the game. Knotted out by Faroul. Benny Diaz way off his line. Chips that one back in. Wind catches it. Sane trying to get it up. Benny Diaz still off his line. Well done by McHugh. Sprints back to beat Tommy Williamson. Felt the stomachs churn a little bit as Benny Diaz looked to get back. Here's his shot. Diaz, it's just wide of the net, and it'll be a goal kick. Armanakis missing there. Worm burner from Panos Armanakis. 2 minutes of stoppage time. Here's Lucho to run into this. Lucho to the corner. Out for a Loudoun throw. Armanakis in his feature with Nicholas Murray at USLChampionship.com. Interesting quote. To be honest, I believe I'm the best player in the league, and it will take a lot for me not to believe that. McHugh handling his business. Pakovic. To continue the quote, I think I've seen quite a few games in the league, and I've come up against quite a few opponents already, and I don't think there's someone better in the league that does what I do. So, no lack of confidence for Loudoun's number 10, Panos Armanakis. Again, you can check that interview at USLChampionship.com. Here's Chica, finds some space. Too far ahead. Armanakis appreciates the effort, but wasn't able to corral. Into the final seconds of this first half of play. One shot on frame for Loudoun. Stopped easily enough by Benny Diaz. Good takeaway here. Up top it comes. Zach Ryan. Goes down, looking for the foul. That was not called. Elmed Carr has it taken away. And over the byline, goal kick. And that's going to be the end of the first half, as Benny Diaz doesn't even have to restart things. 0-0 at the break. Locomotive FC, Loudoun United FC. Here in breezy downtown El Paso, Texas on a Saturday night. What will the second half hold as we continue? We will get to it. Stats, highlights, and plenty more coming up.
You got to do better than that. I'm just getting warmed up. Ha ha, you missed again.
Let me give it a try.
He can swim, right? Get $10,000 off MSRP on a new 2023 Nissan Titan.
Make a splash in your new Nissan from Casa Nissan.
How I drive in the 915.
Home of the nice guys.
Yeah!
Welcome to the 2023 Coaches Show. Joining me to my left, head coach for El Paso Locomotive FC and technical director, Brian Clairhout.
I'm all for celebrating W's. I think that's where I wake up in the morning, you know, celebrate W's.
Welcome back, everybody. It is downtown El Paso, Texas, on a Saturday evening. A beautiful shot of the West Star Tower and Hunt Plaza. 0-0 at the break, Locomotive FC and Loudoun United FC. Duke Keith, Rachel Phillips is pitch side. We'll be speaking to her a little bit later on. But as we take a look at the USL storylines, of course, the storyline here in El Paso so far, it's 0-0 at the break. But new USL leadership. Jake Edwards has decided to move on to other pastures. Paul McDonough taking over for Jake Edwards. You can read more about that at uslsoccer.com. Very aggressive is the USL Championship, and they intend to stay that way. Check out the Save of the Week, because that's Benny Diaz. This is cool because Locomotive has had Goal of the Week the last 2 weeks prior to this. And this week it's Benny Diaz, fingertip save versus Colorado Springs. Your Save of the Week. Locomotive starting to rack up the honors. And the USL Power Rankings, winners of 5 of the last 6. El Paso sitting in 4th after 2 huge road wins. And 2 on the USL Championship Team of the Week as well. As we take a look at standings coming into tonight, everybody in action, no midweek games in the league. So as we take a look at the Western Conference, Sacramento Republic continuing its amazing season, 5-0-3 and 18 points, but just a point better than San Diego Loyal. 17 points for them. Locomotive FC in 3rd, 16 points. The goal differential has them in that 3rd spot over Switchbacks, also with 16, and San Antonio FC with 4 wins. So Locomotive with 1 more win than San Antonio FC. Lots of injuries for San Antonio, though. They continue to stay up near the top. Monterey Bay FC, great season so far for Monterey Bay. 13 points for them, followed by Oakland Roots and Phoenix Rising, now above the playoff line at 10 points, followed by New Mexico United, RGV, Orange County, and Las Vegas Lights FC. We are here in downtown El Paso at the half. It is El Paso Locomotive 0, Loudoun United FC 0. Rachel and I will be back with more in just a bit.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way. Sometimes you feel alone. Like your world is collapsing. Like there's no hope. But you're not alone. Someone is there to listen, to talk, to help you up. The United Soccer League is proud to support the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, because everyone needs support.
Welcome back, everybody. It is 0-0 at the break here in El Paso, Texas. A beautiful shot looking east across downtown El Paso. Here from Southwest University Park, Duke Keith along with Rachel Phillips with you. As we take a look at some of the key highlights from this first half of play from Locomotive FC. Aron Gomez off to the races. He's going to cut back. A little more unfamiliar on the right foot than the left, and this one steered wide. That was in the very early going. Emma Sanupe, the Englishman, trying his luck as he scoots to the right. Missing just left. Miles Lyons sent in from Castician. Well, Castician on the deflection. Lyons there, but couldn't steer that one on frame either. And a great free kick from Eric Calvillo. Great opportunity, I should say. Also wide of the target, up and over the target actually. On frame, nothing for Locomotive FC in the first half, but 8 different shots. And that is the story here at halftime. Locomotive 0, Loudoun United 0. Plenty more coming up right after this.
This party is just getting started. Get Cinco de Mayo savings all month long at Casa Ford. Come celebrate a huge selection of new Ford trucks and SUVs. Take a swing.
Get 0% APR financing plus $1,000 customer cash on a new Ford F-150 XLT.
Get a great price on your new Ford. It's Cinco de Mayo all month long at Casa Ford. Home of the nice guys. Yeah!
Welcome to the 2023 Coaches Show. Joining me to my left, head coach for El Paso Locomotive FC and technical director, Brian Clairhout.
I'm all for celebrating W's. I think that's why I wake up in the morning, to celebrate W's.
Welcome back, everybody. Downtown El Paso is the place. 0-0 is the score at halftime. Duke Keith along with Rachel Phillips with you as we take a look at our first half stats. The most important one, obviously, up at the top as always. 0-0 at the break. Possession controlled by Loudoun United, 60% to Locomotive's 40, roughly. And that's an interesting stat because Locomotive has had the better quality chances, but they haven't been able to steer anything on frame. 10 total shots to 2. None on target for Locomotive as opposed to 1 for Loudoun United. Inside the box, 5 to 1. Offside, Locomotive has committed a couple of those. And in corner kicks, they've got 5. Loudoun United has yet to get a corner in this game, but it's 0-0 at the break. And if you're Loudoun United FC and head coach Ryan Martin, you've got to absolutely love what you've seen so far. They've held their own defensively. So, reason for the visitors to be optimistic. Reason for Locomotive to get ready to go to work. Second half when we return with some highlights and plenty more right after this.
Welcome to the 2023 Coaches Show. Joining me to my left, head coach for El Paso Locomotive FC and technical director, Brian Clairhout.
I'm all for celebrating W's. I think that's why I wake up in the morning, celebrate W's.
0-0 as we get ready for the second half of play in downtown El Paso. Southwest University Park is the place. I'm Duke Keith, to be joined by Rachel Phillips here shortly. As we take a look at first half highlights from this one, lots for Locomotive as we reported. 10 shots, nothing on target, and it started early. Eric Calvillo missing wide to the left. Aaron Gomez, it was a great give and go with Lucho to spring Gomez up the left, but he turns it on that right foot and could not push that on frame. Up top for Loudoun United, Tommy Williamson makes a great move. Well done by Benedias. That was the one shot on target in the first half of play for either team. Sanupe to Borelli. It comes to Lucho from Williams, or from, my apologies, from McHugh, but that was offside. Best look of the evening for Locomotive. Here's another good one. Sanupe dragging that one wide to the left. And that's where we are after our first half of play. Eighth notch, undaunted. Let's go down to Rachel Phillips before we start our second half for her thoughts as Locomotive coming back ready to go for half number 2.
Yeah, Duke, for the Locos, really much the same. That's what you'd be wanting to see if you're Brian Clarehout, with one exception, executing in that final third. That's really what they're missing. They've got everything else out there on the field. Defense holding up too. I guess another big thing for the Locos is kind of hoping that Loudoun tire as they get towards the end of this 90 minutes, considering this is their third game in the span of a week. We've seen the Locos struggle with it before, so maybe Loudoun will too, and that could be a great opportunity for the Locos to find some space and really create even more opportunities.
Underway for half number 2 from Southwest University Park. Happy you could join us, Locomotive. We'll see if heading toward eighth notch on the attack gives the Locomotive attack a little extra juice. And immediately a free kick as Aiden Rocha takes down Borelli. Against the wind this time, but still in dangerous territory. We've talked about this before as well. Anybody touches it in the wrong spot, it could go in. Kostitian will take a turn to the far post, just wide. You could see McHugh trying to get that ham hock out there. It didn't quite work out. Over for the goal kick. McHugh's been the target for a lot, and why not when you stand 6'4"? Just 22 years old, from Onsala, Sweden. Saw McHugh take a trip to an elementary school. Great video from the Locomotive social media team. Did some ball dribbling drills, and you think to yourself, you watch him so adept on the ball, and he's a defender, and he's 6'4". Professional athletes are not like you and me in that regard. That's a great ball out of the back. Williamson. McHugh, it's a piece. It'll be off of McHugh, and it'll be Loudoun's first corner of the night. McHugh did well to stay with Williamson, trying to say he chipped it off of Williamson's toe. The AR did not agree. Chipped wide. Locomotive gets ahead to that. I think that was Gomez. Kept though. Sane out along the left and ripping one wide up and over is Williamson. Maybe it's that particular net. Locomotive can certainly hope so. Getting a piece of that. Loudoun United. The shot parried away by Diaz. That's a great turnover created by Zach Ryan. Got it to Armanakis, but Diaz makes the stop. Armanakis again. Here's another shot. Turned aside. Ryan deflected. Loose, and it will roll to Diaz. It's over the byline. Not able to control in time as Loudoun, and it'll be out for a goal kick. Good work by Elmed Carr in tight as well, but couldn't keep it from rolling out. Wow. That is another turnover. Locomotive has to watch it. Liam Rose actually able to force this out and get position. Great work to kind of make up for the mistake. Liam Rose and Benny Diaz. Rachel Phillips getting a little talk with some of the folks from Loudoun United as well. Ryan Martin has to be happy with that first half, Rachel.
Yeah, Duke, you'd certainly have to think so. I mean, we talk about how many opportunities the Locomotive created and Loudoun able to defend every single one of them and really get in the middle of some sticky situations they put themselves in to ensure they weren't scored against. Going into the half at 0-0, considering this is their third game in the span of a week, they've got to be extremely happy. And just from these first couple of minutes in the second half, you've got to imagine the message at halftime to them was, hey guys, it's 0-0. Let's go out and be aggressive. This is our game to win now. We've survived 45 minutes. Let's keep going and put the pressure on. And already we've seen a couple turnovers from the Locomotive based off of Loudoun pressure, and another one right there.
Indeed. Created by some good work from Zane, Abdul Zane. Couldn't hang on though, and it'll be a Locomotive throw. Breeze is definitely picking up, at least on the pitch. See the flags, they're wafting in the breeze, but I certainly feel it up here. Rachel, I'm sure you do downstairs.
I was going to say, I certainly feel it down here too. Eddie, my cameraman tonight, he's in shorts and a t-shirt, and I said,
Whoops.
Aren't you cold? And he's like, no, I'm fine. I was like, gosh, I wish that was me. I'm out here in full body covered and I'm still cold.
Eddie Romero. Eddie does a lot of El Paso Rhinos hockey games with us too, and he does it right there ice side, so he's kind of used to the cold maybe.
Yeah, this is nothing to him. He's like, a bit of wind, I'm used to ice.
It's a takedown. Ahmed Carr giving Aaron Gomez a spill. Pakovic, the Hungarian, will go for the long switch. Too tall for Miles Lyons. Would have been too tall for Anthony Davis. And you wonder why the team is called Locomotive. Trains passing by right underneath Southwest University Park. There's the railroad, a big pass out of the back. Well settled, Diaz is going to swallow that up before Zach Ryan could control. And well done again by Diaz. Way off his line, but reading the game exceptionally well. Borelli, nice back heel for Gomez. Just to clear some room. Well, shaky moments at the back for Locomotive. And here's Rose again, having to restart with Diaz against the wind. Sanupe gets ahead to it, but controlled by Garay. Nice bounce for Lucho. Room to roam for the Argentine. Lucho a bit behind Castician. He'll lay off for Calvillo. If that pass had been on target, Castician could run at the byline. Maybe a different story, but they'll switch it. Long cross, pawed away. Faru, that was in from Gomez with Lucho encroaching along with Sanupe. Again though, well settled by Zane. And possession now for the visitors, Garay. Much like Eric Calvillo, an American with El Salvador citizenship and heritage, so has been a part of that lineup. It's a good cross. It'll bounce correctly for Williamson. Williamson will lay off for Zane. Armanakis sees no way through. Back and forth, comes off of Coa Santos. Out to Zane again. The long cross. That's lifted out. Borelli, I think, gets the touch there. Sanupe, Gomez, and Calvillo. Locomotive trying to sort it out from the back. And here's Borelli. Team captain tonight to Calvillo, the layoff to Castician. And now Locomotive trying to start things up. A pull back and a little pull down. Castician. Little handshake from Garay. Earns Locomotive another restart. And another free kick in some awkward territory for Loudoun United. Again, the question is always, who's going to touch it when you've got playmakers like Calvillo and Castician? Castician, far post. Gomez, header into the mix. Headed out by Chica. And on the run, Armanakis. Well done by Miles Lyons. Comes over with Gomez to fight that one away from Armanakis and earns the free kick. Heady stuff for the youngster. Borelli. As the train goes by. Foreshadowing, we'll see. Borelli way out. That's well done by Farouk. Zane trying to make a pass up to Williamson. Way too far ahead, and an easy goal kick here for Benny Diaz. Locomotive ready to go. And rolls out off of Elmet Carr. Elmet Carr, beautiful first-time effort to score early on versus Indy 11. Loudoun thought they had the second goal as well off of Zach Ryan. Absolutely rocketed off the crossbar. Replay show it clearly bounced in. Should have been 2 goals. But then Indy comes back and wins it 2-1. This was last weekend, a week ago tonight, at Segra Field in Leesburg, Virginia. And then off to the U.S. Open Cup, where they were hammered in the first half by Columbus Crew. Good play over the top. Rose to Castician, holding Chica at bay. No foul. Chica does his job. Draws some whistles and boos. And our international audience, as always, the border of the United States and Mexico. Sane. Loudoun has had good possession, as we pointed out at half, 60-40, favoring the visitors. And a good switch here, wide open. Elmet Carr makes a move, lifted out for the throw. Good work to survive. Pakovic combining with Borelli. And for Monterrey, and the team captain tonight, forcing it back into the Hungarian. What a throw. Elmet Carr. Santos, the Hawaiian. Roll it back to Chica. Played up to Garay. Looking for it. Making some moves is Rocha up top. Sent back in by Zane. They'll switch it again. Elmet Carr, lofting one off the head. It'll come to Zane, lifted out. Great work by McHugh, but not out of trouble. Williamson brought down. No foul, says the referee. Hands were up in protest, but the referee, watching it firmly, Melvin Rivas, waves that one away. Still, though, Loudoun with possession. Locomotive not out of trouble yet. McHugh, it'll bounce though. Ed, the flag is up. Elmet Carr can't believe it. Trying to work a little triangle with Zach Ryan. Let's take a look at the replay. And clearly, Williamson untouched by Bense Pakovic. Over the top, looking for Lucho. Lucho gets a touch, but well done in recovery. Bryce Washington. Aaron Gomez on the throw-in. Draws the double team. That'll be out for a Loudoun throw as we head down to Rachel Phillips. Good defensive display by Locomotive, but maybe for a little too long to Brian Clairhout's liking.
Yeah, I'm sure they would have liked to get the ball out of there sooner, but a massive effort to just survive that onslaught there from the entire backline, including Benny Diaz. He says, look, I know it sounds cliche, but for me, these guys are my family, because he's away from home and not actually living with his actual family. He's in another city. The team here is his family. They're the ones he sees every day, so they're all his brothers, and that translates to the field. He says he will always have their back, and he knows they will always have his as well. And I mean, you just saw it on full display right there.
Good work by Diaz in the Locomotive defense. Another takedown, Borelli. The whistle is blown. And Melvin Rivas. Words for Borelli and Tommy Williamson, it appears. Saying enough is enough. So we'll redo the throw-in. Loudoun United. That's going to be a foul on Locomotive. United with the free kick. And the longer Locomotive cannot make hay offensively, the more Loudoun's confidence builds. Already the majority of possession tonight. Good slide over to Zane from Amanakis. Well dealt with by Calvillo. Lions lofting one over the top, looking for Castician, but picked off by Armanakis, or rather, Garay. Armanakis, Liam Rose on him, the two Aussies and former 10-year-old indoor teammates. Nice ball over the top, but Lucho can't settle. That's the man Locomotive desperately wants to get on the ball. They also haven't been able to find anything for Emma Sanupe over the top. Loudoun continuing to choke down the passing routes, maintain possession, keep the ball away from Locomotive, and it's exactly what the doctor ordered for Ryan Martin's game. Martin has been the head coach for a few years, and part of the DC United family there for a while, and that's a takedown earned by Castician. Foul from the back by Zane. And heady by the Ukrainian to go down and basically give Locomotive the restart here. Needed for Locomotive FC. Pakovic. Gomez. Calvillo, no way in from the right, or from the left rather. Calvillo. Room for Castician. Gives it up to Lyons. Lyons into the box. Knotted out. Bryce Washington gets a piece. Still not out of danger if Locomotive can get possession. Castician giving it off to Lyons. Kind of a tough takedown by Garay. But Locomotive maintains the ball. Borelli though. Outrun. Rocha. The relief foul. And up to Ryan. Ryan makes the move. Spins again. Ryan. Good work by Locomotive to get back in time. Elmed Carr though. Rolls it to Williamson. Easy cross. taken by Benedios. Down to Rachel Phillips for words on who might be coming into the match shortly.
Yeah, Duke, we've got both Chris Garcia and Mark Navarro just changing shirts, about to head on. Coach Claire Hart actually talking with both of them right now as we speak, just trying to change up things here, as Loudoun have really come out of this half a lot more threatening with what the Locomotive have been. So putting in Chris Garcia is a great move in the attacking third. He's fast, he's quick, and he's very aggressive. And then Mark Navarro, I assume, will be going in for Miles Lyons, and just to try and firm up that back third where Loudoun are finding a lot of space.
Aaron Gomez issued the yellow card in the 64th, and Garay, a little worse for wear for that. That will allow for the substitutions. For Locomotive FC, Chris Garcia in for Emma Sanupe. Mark Navarro in for Miles Lyons. Pair of 65th minute subs for Brian Clairhout, looking to try and switch things up, as Loudoun United, you have to say, has had the better of the second half. Possession, opportunities, Locomotive is really not threatened Hugo Farou in the second half at all. So after Aaron Gomez yellow card, the restart. Elmed Carr draws the double team, puts it into space, but it's Borelli to see it through, gets in front of that, and he's waiting for contact. He'll take it to the corner. Nicely done. It's actually Pakovic looking for Borelli. Well done by the Hungarian. Deep throw here for Locomotive, but it is a throw-in. It is a Loudoun throw-in is what it is. Borelli standing, waiting for somebody in red to come and get the ball. Elmed Carr. Williamson. Back to the Virginian, nicely lofted out by Lucho, and the takedown. Aaron Gomez drawing contact from Bryce Washington. The Locomotive FC had started leading in yellow cards and fouls. The discipline has gotten much, much better for Locomotive. 135 fouls won. Up the right wing side, Castician not able to outdistance Chica. For Loudoun, more fouls committed than drawn. 108-92 coming into tonight. Locomotive has definitely drawn the fouls 15-10 to this moment. As we are close to the 68th minute, and Locomotive looking to get their traction back in this match. Loudoun with tons of possession here. Lofted into space, Ryan looking for Zane. Locomotive there, but it'll be a corner kick. Mark Navarro's first touch of the ball. The Spaniard out of Barcelona, 27 years of age. 99 appearances in La Liga as well as the English Premier League. Espanyol's reserve side as well. And here is the corner. And Elmed Carr will take it. But not yet.
What?
Elmed Carr. Knotted down, Diaz on the stop. Locomotive trying to get back in a hurry. Bryce Washington got ahead to it. Locomotive in transition. Borelli, Calvillo. Really nowhere for Chris Garcia to go. They'll switch it back. Well, they try to switch it back to him. Way too far from Navarro. First game action for the Spaniard in a little bit, and the touch certainly nowhere near where he wants it to be. Restart again for Loudoun United. Good work in the break by Chris Garcia, but pulls it back a little bit. Loudoun United gets back. It's one of the advantages of having a team with players who are still part of the DC United system. It's a very young team, all things considered. That's a bad giveaway, and Chris Garcia taken down by Rocha, but well behind the player, well after the ball had gone ahead. We'll take a look, the cross wide. Borelli keeps it moving. It will roll past the flag for throw, keeping it away from Elmed Carr. Let's head down to Rachel Phillips for more on this.
Yeah, Duke, I mean, last season, or really for the entirety of Ryan Martin's tenure as head coach, he was pretty much at the mercy of whatever DC United needed. But in the offseason, Loudoun was acquired by Attain Sports and Entertainment, which has meant Martin is now getting to do things his way with his squad and choose what players he brings in. And that has paid monumental dividends so far this season, because they've been able to build a playing style and a culture around a core group rather than have players continuously going up and going down between the MLS side. Obviously, there are still a few, but the core group remains the same. Zach Ryan said having the same guys on the training pitch every day is a big part of a successful team, and he himself knows that because last year he was at Red Bull and had to go up and down all the time.
Lucho to Aaron Gomez. And again on that right foot, Locomotive cannot get a shot on target. Well, certainly great for Loudoun United. They got to be a part of the U.S. Open Cup for the first time ever and did quite well. All the way to the third round before Columbus Crew ended things last Wednesday, 5-1. But Loudoun United, Locomotive went to Loudoun last season and won 3-1 at Segra Field. Tonight, a very different story, and you're seeing exactly what Rachel was talking about. Here in the almost 72nd minute, it's 0-0, and Locomotive still looking for their first shot on target. Loudoun United has had 3. Great ball over the top, but too tall for Zach Ryan. It's a decent thought for Koa Santos. Became the first Hawaiian player as Locomotive and Eder Borelli draw the foul. First player from the islands of Hawaii to sign to play his college soccer with a Pac-12 team. San Diego State, part of the Pac-12 in soccer. The Locomotive certainly getting support from the crowd here at Southwest University Park. Navarro. Abduzani at 5'5", giving up a little bit to the Spaniard. Lucho will pull it back. The Spaniard off the top of the bar and netting. And the fans thrilled for a second because it looked like it was in, but nope. Trying to catch Faroux off his line, he did that. But against the wind, a little too much for the Spaniard. Faroux. Good job by Pakovic, but Locomotive cannot get possession. Rocha. Armanakis back to Rocha. Rocha, the switch to Chica. Loudoun United, patient on the ball. Zane. Garay. There's Santos again. Almanacas, much in the same role as Dennis Castician, El Paso's number 10, out of that right wing. It's a great job by Garcia, and Garcia's going to come up with a ball. Heady play by the native El Pasoan. And that's going to be a foul on Williamson. Calvillo taken down. Credit Locomotive, they have won the ball back a number of times. Here's Navarro, plays it into space. Castician lofted into the middle. It's over the head of Gomez. Lucho on the other side. Calvillo. Navarro dummies that. Castician, the Ukrainian, draws the double team to Rose. Not quite danger averted. Locomotive FC still maintains possession, but Locomotive will go all the way back to Benitez to restart this. A lot of passing for Locomotive there. It didn't look like anybody really had a clear shot. Loudoun United, credit them again. Defensively, they have been very solid and no clear opportunities, I don't think, for Locomotive in that last little foray. Dennis Castician, should be noted, leads the entire league. 25 shots. That's just shots, not shots on target, but 25 shots this season. He hasn't taken one in this match so far. It's going to be over the top for a goal kick, and Rachel, the Ukrainian, he's had some possession, but you credit Loudoun for getting back defensively. I don't think he's had a clear shot, and he's been very unselfish tonight.
Yeah, that's certainly right. And honestly, I don't know if Brian Clareheart would be happy with that. I mean, right. You talk about the 25 shots, the most in the league, obviously the most for the Locomotive as well. 9 of them have been on target, and he's got the 2 goals to show for it too. Just to give you an idea of how much he looks for that shot, he's had 11 more shots than Lucho coming into this game, who of course leads the Locomotive with goals scored this season with 5. Clareheart has said if you don't shoot, you don't score, and Dennis has clearly taken that on board, except clearly for tonight, Duke.
Yes. Again, no shots on target or otherwise.
He was really brought into this team because of his experience and ability to spearhead the attack, and we haven't seen much of that.
Great work on Elmed Carr. They got the exact shot they wanted. Elmed Carr collapsing. He thought he had his opportunity, but Benitez stops it cold. Sorry to cut you off, Rachel, but yeah, Dennis Castician still looking for it. That's a ball out of the back for Gomez, who will run it down on the other side of the area. Chris Garcia. Calvillo. It'll bounce back to the El Salvador International. Here's Castician, and it's just wide. Well, that's shot number 26 in the season. First attempt tonight, but again, Locomotive, 14 shots, none on frame.
I think we talk that into existence, Duke. That's all on us.
We spoke that into being, sadly. Ooh, coming at you. Our former broadcast colleague, Heidi Mocha, would be going absolutely crazy right now. That was her mantra, steer those shots on frame. And you have to say Farouk, unchallenged in that respect, but we'll put it back in touch for Locomotive. Of course, Locomotive playing without Pedar Petrovic and Ricardo Zacarias. That's 6 goals gone from your lineup. Lucho's still out there. He has 5. Castician has a pair. Nice loft over to Garcia. Trying to head it down, but popped out for a throw. Good work on the recovery by Elmed Carr. The Locomotive starting to find their feet, I think, offensively. That'll be lofted in too far. We're hearing that Nick Hines is about ready to enter the match. Here's a turnover. Gomez will chip off the bar. Calvillo deflected out by Chica. Corner kick. The chance of chances for Josue Aron Gomez. And it would not go in. Off the bar doesn't count as a shot on goal. Locomotive does earn the corner. Calvillo, Chica, last-ditch defending. Great work for Loudoun. Costician trying to skip one in low. It's touched in. McHugh. It's stopped by Faroux. And they're calling for the training staff. No need, really. Up under his own steam is Bryce Washington. Last-ditch defending. And we are hearing it's going to be Nick Hines for Dennis Costician. Take a look at this on the replay. Brian Birds moving into the next match. Locomotive on the road to play Birmingham. That is May 20th. I don't believe they've ever played Birmingham before. Birmingham Legion in Birmingham, Alabama. The watch party will be Union Draft House Tierra Este, so be ready for that. May 20th, it's 5:30 p.m. for the kick. As Nick Hines makes his way on for Dennis Costician. Nick Hines from Sunrise, Florida. Has been a part of the Jamaican youth system as well. Joined Sounders Academy in 2015. Knocked around all over the place. Nashville SC 2021. Signed a deal with the MLS squad. Austin Bold as well. Locomotive finding a little more of the ball as of late, but still just not able to push it in. They have yet to have a shot on target. 16 shots. It's well done, Garcia. The flag is up. Garcia's pass was offside, looking for Gomez.
Yeah, Duke, I mean, I don't think you can get any closer than what the Locomotive got in that last sequence. I mean, first it was Aron Gomez off the crossbar, and then I think it was Eric Calvillo right in there at the net off Eric McHugh, and inches in this game. I mean, really the difference and the reason why we're still seeing a 0-0 scoreline has come down to both defensive lines coming up clutch when they needed it most, and if that continues, we could see a 0-0 scoreline as we've just entered the 83rd minute here in this match.
Borelli does well, but he can't make a completed pass. That was Rocha. Back to Chica. Garay. Rocha will steer it to the right. Elmed Carr and Armanakis. Garay. The back pass. That'll suit Loudoun just fine. 0-0 means they grab a point on the road. And after this gauntlet of 6 games in 3 weeks, you've got to think Ryan Martin will absolutely go for it. Nonetheless, Loudoun United continues to go for a goal here in El Paso. And we will have substitutions now for Loudoun United. Coming onto the pitch for Tommy Williamson will be Wesley Leggett. Here in minute 84.
Yeah, Duke, I mean, Loudoun really have nothing to lose here. I think coming into this match, most people would have expected them to lose, considering the Locomotive on their hot streak and their 2 games in a row losing for Loudoun. And on top of that, like you mentioned, 3 games in a week. It's just tough to continuously play those minutes. So I would have said they weren't expected to win this one. So for them, like you said, leaving as a 0 or draw, well, that's good for them. That's a point. But hey, why not try to get a goal? And with a few minutes left, I think they're going to give everything.
They are still in possession the majority of the time. First touches for Abdul Kawanda, entering the lineup along with Wesley Leggett. Kawanda in for Garay, who's done a pretty solid job tonight. Here's Chica from the corner. And Gomez flashes out. Off of Gomez, it'll be a Loudoun throw. Into the 85th minute. Locomotive looking for answers they have not been able to find. Trying to equal their team best with 5 consecutive wins. On 4 right now, Loudoun United might well have something to say about that. McHugh, who's done a fine job in relief of the team captain and Spaniard Yuma, 22-year-old. He's been involved in a number of actions. Well done by Liam Rose, draws the contact, and he wanted the restart. And Abdul Zane collapses on top of him, and they apologize for the mix-up. Zane on loan from ASEC Mimosas, the Ivorian from Abidjan, Ivory Coast. Eric Calvillo here on the restart. Navarro heads into the mix. Calvillo, low bullet headed back by Chica, and it's straight to a waiting Farouk. With Bense Pakovic in the hunt. Farouk decisive. Played forward for Ryan. Ryan trying to front the goal. The double team. Out it comes again, Benny Diaz. Right off of Kawanda. You see the dangerous feet of Zach Ryan. Getting it out to the right wing. The fresh legs of Abdul Kawanda. Another Ivorian. It's good work from assistant GM Clarence Sheridieu, who has connections overseas. Loudoun United building after their affiliation with DC United is all but over. Here's Garcia outside of the boot. Gomez is going to get there. Not really a shot, and an easy gather for Farouk. Loudoun United looking for their first result on the road since the opening match of their season. Memphis. Did get a result versus San Antonio FC, 1-1. That was March 19th. Abdul Zane is down, and they want the training staff to come on. So Teresa Rehwoldt, to say Teresa Rehwoldt, on to take a look at the Ivorian. Melvin Rivas waving immediately to the touchline. So you have to think this will be time added. Eighth notch undaunted, still up. Even the youngsters, nobody's sitting. That's a large drum. Yeah, that's a workout. Eighth notch. Always bringing the noise. First start for Liam McHugh. Eric McHugh, my apologies. He's done very well in filling in for Yuma. Aron Gomez trying to make work on Chica. Does well. Aron Gomez, the cross in! It's a goal! Chris Garcia with his first ever for Locomotive FC. All made possible by the box-to-box forward. Aron Gomez makes that goal happen. 1-0 in the 89th minute. Garcia basically off his chest, but as a wise man once said, they don't ask how, they ask how many. And the answer is 1 for Locomotive FC.
Duke, just when you thought this game was going to end in a 0-all draw, Chris Garcia stepping up to the plate. What a moment for the hometown kid. He said last season when he came back from Real Salt Lake, it was a dream to get to play back in the places he grew up in. If you watch him right now, he was just blowing kisses to the crowd. That's how much it means to him, giving the Locomotive the lead right now and potentially the match winner.
5 minutes of stoppage time. And just in the nick of time for Locomotive FC. Outstanding work by Josue Aron Gomez. Leads to that for Chris Garcia, but now Loudoun with a free kick and a yellow card to Pakovic. Leggett taken down in a very dangerous spot for Locomotive FC. Garcia lagging back just to make sure there's no quick restarts. They'll set the line. And it's Aiden Rocha. I believe Armanakis is back there as well, and it will be Armanakis to take this free kick. The Australian, Armanakis, lofts one to the far post, spilled out by Diaz, and on the run, here's Lucho. Diaz, all he needed to do was put it into space. Garcia was there, but Hugo Farou, well done by the Frenchman. Both of these netminders don't mind coming off their lines a bit. Makes for some exciting moments.
And Duke, this is really when you need the Locomotive leadership group to step up. Just a few minutes left in this game. Have the lead right now. No Yuma in the side. So Eder Borelli, Lucho, Eric Carvillo, expect them to be very vocal right now, making sure that they hold on to this lead and walk away tonight with a win.
And we've got an injury timeout as McHugh, a little shaken up. They'll call for the training staff. Ricardo Ruiz, Andres Rivera on to take a look at McHugh, who's already up under his own steam. That will also allow for a substitution, I believe. .85% passing accuracy for the young man in his first ever start. Eric McHugh. He will have to go off the pitch for a little bit. Two tackles, 3 interceptions, 2 clearances from McHugh, 7 of 11 duels won. That's a heck of a debut for your start. Esta noche tenemos a ganar. That's what Locomotive and 8th Notch wants to see. But that will add to the stoppage time. We will certainly go past the 95. With Benny Diaz here on the restart. We've got to think at least 3 to 4 more minutes left. Good work by Coanda to steer loose of the pressure. Coa Santos up and over. Locomotive's defense will escort that one for a waiting Benny Diaz. Well, Loudoun forced to go for it. Locomotive will take all the time they can certainly. Diaz with another one of those lasers, too tall for Lucho. And here's the sub. For Locomotive FC, on to the pitch, Chapa Herrera. He'll replace Eric Calvillo. Defensive mid, really. Eric Calvillo does rush up into the attack. He and Liam Rose do tag team a little bit that way. Chapa Herrera certainly a defensive substitution. Well, Chris Garcia will earn the contact and a foul. And a yellow card issued to Abdul Kawanda. Garcia still down. You could tell he didn't want to go down. I think that's Melvin Rivas certainly recognized that as well. But earns Locomotive a free kick and a little opportunity to run some clock. And the caution now to Eder Borelli. You've got to think for descent. As the restart from Rose to the right wing, Chica's there to rise over, but here is Navarro. Played it into space. Here's Garcia. And it is Loudoun's throw. As you hear the AR giving instructions to Abdul Zane. Lofted back up by Chica, but straight to Locomotive FC, and Borelli will play back. Diaz. We are over the 95 indeed. Here is Lucho. Locomotive will take the air out of this. How much more added time? Here in added time. Diaz keeps it moving, lofted over the top. Garcia with those fresh legs, trying to get position, but Faroux again off his line. And that's it! Locomotive FC. The 89th minute goal by Chris Garcia. How important was Josue Aron Gomez tonight? Absolutely critical. Garcia getting his first goal for Locomotive and Loudoun United with their 5th loss of the season. Chica thought he had it. Aron stays with it. Gomez. Off the chest, Garcia. Yeah, that was off my chest, no problem. We'll talk more about it on the other side of the break.
Welcome to the 2023 Coaches Show. Joining me to my left, head coach for El Paso Locomotive FC and technical director, Brian Clairhout.
I'm all for celebrating W's. I think that's where I wake up in the morning, to celebrate W's.
Welcome back, Southwest University Park, a happy place on this Saturday night as they bring out the fireworks trains. You see them there on the pitch. More importantly, Locomotive finally got some fireworks. Their only shot on goal tonight is the goal from Chris Garcia. 1-0 at the break as we take a look at full-time stats Locomotive FC happy to do some celebrating in front of 8th Notch. And there you see 17 total shots, 1 on target, and it was the goal. 7 inside the box, 3 offsides. The passing accuracy a little off from what Locomotive usually is used to, but credit Loudoun United for a wonderful effort tonight here on the road. 1-0 your score. The only shot on target in the game now gives Locomotive their 5th consecutive win, tying a team record from a couple of seasons ago, and happiness all around for Locomotive FC. Just a tremendous effort as we send it down to Rachel for her thoughts tonight. Rach?
Yeah, I mean, Locomotive just did what they had to do in those final minutes. I'm sure Brian Clairhart probably isn't stoked with the performance, considering how many opportunities they had on goal and just couldn't quite convert. But at the end of the day, they're walking away with 3 points at home, and you see what that means, them going up and doing that wave again in front of 8th Notch, something those fans are coming to love.
And Benny Diaz, let's not forget Diaz, his 4th clean sheet, which will move him into a tie for 2nd place. Oliver Semi is the 2nd place holder. He had 4 coming out of tonight. Danny Vitello leads everybody in top spot. But well done for Locomotive FC. Benny Diaz with his 4th clean sheet of the season, and Locomotive with a 1-0 win. Autographs all around. Chapa. Selfie poses, the whole bit. Bucket hats everywhere. Nicely done. And we'll send it down to the pitch for our estrella of the match. It's, as you would imagine, Chris Garcia. Rachel, take it away.
Locos fans, I am joined by your estrella of the match, Chris Garcia. Chris, congratulations. Just when everyone in the swap thought they were going home with a 0-0 draw, you found the match winner. What was that moment like, and what did you see on that goal?
I mean, the game was pretty tight, pretty hard, and congrats to the team for working really hard and making that moment happen. Happy for the team.
For yourself, you're from El Paso. I know when you came back in the middle of last season, it meant a lot to you to be playing for your hometown team. What does it mean to score your very first goal for the Locomotive in front of a home crowd?
It's a dream come true, man. It's my hometown. My family's here, and I'm happy. Love it.
For the Locomotive as a whole, the team started losing the first 3 games and now on a 6-game unbeaten streak. What has been the change?
No, it was hard, but working with the team and doing practices with the coach and getting used to it, the team has come along, and it's made a big change on us. So yeah, that's with the team and the coach, hard work, and yeah.
Chris, thanks so much for your time. Congratulations. Enjoy this moment. I'm sure there are a lot of fans who are going to want to say hi to you. There's a soccer ball here. If you want to sign this one for us, you'll get to kick it up into the crowd, and one lucky fan will get that one. And here, of course, is your Estrella of the Match trophy as well. And look, you got some help here, signing your name. Ben's coming over to help you out here. This is what happens when the Locomotive get a win. We're having some fun down here on the pitch. High fives, knuckles all around. Locomotive leaving tonight with a win, now 6 games unbeaten in a row. Chris Garcia, do your thing.
Chris Garcia boots it into the crowd. His first goal as a Locomotive player in front of the hometown faithful, the El Pasoan, with an absolutely critical goal, but set in motion by the work from Josue Aron Gomez. Tonight, 1-0 Locomotive, 5th consecutive win, 7th undefeated. Locomotive FC rolling and continues that momentum with their 6th win of the season and 19 points. What will the future hold? We'll see next weekend in Birmingham, Alabama. Until then, for Juan Gutierrez, our producer, our director Cesar Ruiz, and Rachel Phillips, I'm Duke Keith. So long, everybody.
Rebroadcast or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship. This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.